So how to lose weight fast without lifting a finger? Very interesting. Now, you should be skeptical with such a claim. I want you to be. As we go on, you'll see the science behind it and the foundation supporting such a statement. This is a formula in doing things right, in erasing habits and patterns that have been holding you back, and installing new ones that can propel you forward and give you a sense of momentum like very few things you've done in your life. Unlike a diet where you starve yourself and eventually have to go back to eating, your old pattern of feeling imbalanced, at mercy, and without power and control is not one you ever have to return to again. So, what's this all about? Well, one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest challenges or roadblocks people trying to lose weight run into that gets in the way and stops them from attaining their ideal figure or ideal physique has to do with an evil little devil on their shoulder. This little devil makes them give in to the guilty pleasures. What guilty pleasures, you might ask? Well, it's different for every person, but here's some. If you have that one food, maybe even a few different foods, maybe even a whole slew of foods that you absolutely love, that you crave, that you think about way more often than any sane person should, foods that are like your Achilles heel, they basically get in your way and stop you from closing the gap from where you are now to where you want to be. And you feel a little out of control, you feel at mercy, you feel a little weak, and maybe like it's almost uncontrollable. What if I told you you could, in a matter of moments, change your level of desire for any food you're craving? Even the guiltiest of pleasures, the stuff that you can barely control yourself around. What if I told you you could completely control the seemingly uncontrollable? My name's Nino, and in this video, I want to show you how to do such a thing. I want to show you how to take command. I want to show you how to get in control. I want to show you how to be the master, not the puppet, so that you can eliminate a huge element of friction that's been holding you back, and maybe even someone you know that's dealing with this stuff. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, compulsive overeating disorders are the most common of all eating disorders, and it affects about 3% of all adults in the United States, which according to the latest census estimates I found, I've estimated that to be around 6.8 million people in the US alone. So we're going to run through a little formula that deals with some of the equation that leads to overeating and gets some pretty unbelievable results. I've helped people completely shift their cravings, their desire for any given food, any drink, in a matter of minutes. I've seen them literally go from craving something like pizza, for instance, where their mouth was literally watering at just the thought of pizza. You know, their eyes got big. It was just, it was just crazy. And they were just like ready to chow. You know, it was scary, their craving. I mean, actually like physically disturbed to the point where they just had to have it now, you know? I've helped them take that ridiculous level of craving and completely reverse it to the other extreme, where they would almost get to the point of vomiting even thinking about this food, all in a matter of minutes. How'd they do it? We'll get into it in just a little bit, but what they did was use a little alchemy, so to speak. They changed the rules of the game, took total control by shifting, changing, adding, mixing elements that either amped their desire for the food or completely wiped out their desire for the food. And at this point, you might be thinking, like, whatever, dude. That's just not possible, man. Not buying it, brah. For some reason, you just became a surfer dude. Not sure what that was all about, but anyways, stick with me. Let's test some things firsthand to see if you really can take your food weakness, something that you know isn't good for you, something that you know is getting in the way of your weight loss goals, and just take away that friction. Crush the push-pull that's going on there. You know, your irrational emotions fighting with your conscious, and some might say, rational mind. Run through this formula with me in real time, so it's interactive. And then if you want, watch the video a second time and go through it again to get the hang of things. You want to run through the formula with me as we go, because this stuff literally can give you a sense of control and power like you've never felt before. It could squash that little devil on your shoulder that makes you give in to the craving, makes you eat emotionally, makes you feel bad about getting off track, makes you beat yourself up when you slip. And if you take that conflict and friction away, you'll not only make some serious shifts and start to see a transformation in your body, but you'll be so much happier and more balanced. You know, you don't have to fight with your cravings. You don't have to undergo that push-pull, that emotional stress. So if you actually run through the formula with me, you'll make some serious shifts on a core, visceral level. This isn't just going to be some sort of theory or some kind of surface level intellectual understanding. It'll go a lot deeper and set you up for success. So play this full out. Use your imagination and get ready to step outside a couple paradigms, or paradigms if you will. So let's get to it. Let's see what this is all about. Alright, take a food that comes to mind that you just feel neutral about. So on a scale from -10 to +10, where -10 equals the most disgusting garbage on earth, makes you sick even thinking about it, you never touch it in a million years, to +10, where it's the most delicious, amazing food ever. You gotta have it right now. Your craving for this food is at an absolute peak. So -10 to +10, 0 being neutral. Take a food which your level of desire for that food is at or close to a neutral 0. Okay, take a couple seconds to get that. You can also pause the video if you need to and come back. So pause the video right now if you need to. And once you got it, think about what it would take to increase your desire for that food. Think about what it would take to increase your desire to a +3 on a scale from -10 to +10. What would it take? Would you have to add something you really like to it? Would you think about the food being at an ideal temperature? If you were a little hungry, would that increase it to a level 3? Whatever would get you there to a level 3, do it now. You can be as creative as you want. Just get it to a level 3. Pause if you need to. Okay, nice work. Now let's take it to a level 7. Now if you're like, I don't like the food that much, I don't think I could get it to a level 7. Well, what would have to happen if you could? What would you imagine? What would it take? You can absolutely get it to a level 7. It's just about coming up with what it would take to get there. It doesn't need to be difficult. Just really get it there. Really get it to that level. Get your emotions to that level of intensity in the moment. What would you have to focus on? What would you need to imagine? Maybe you would have to imagine that food would give you the motivation and energy you would need to blast through a workout without even having to think about it. You just have to eat the food and automatically you're jacked up and ready to rock. Whatever gets you there, do it now. Get it to a level 7. Pause if you need to. Okay, now we got it to a level 7. Awesome job so far. Now let's take it to a level 10, where it's like the most amazing thing ever. You gotta have it now. It gives you everything that, say, a food that is like your weakness, a food that you usually really crave. The same feeling that gives you. Maybe you imagine this food as a super weight loss potion, that if you eat it, it would automatically grant your wish and magically transform your body into instant supermodel status. Whatever it takes to get to level 10, do it now. It's just about how. It's not an if. What would you have to do to get it there? No limitations, no rules, no boundaries. Get as creative as you want. Get it to a level 10 right now. Pause if you need to. Okay, did you do it? Did you get it to a level 10? Now, if you didn't do it, don't be a bum. Freaking do it. If you think about it this way, if this formula really had the potential to be an absolute turning point, something that could be one of the most powerful factors, or perhaps the most powerful factor, in your weight loss success and getting to where you ultimately want to be most, then can you really afford not to take a couple minutes and do this in real time? It's up to you. So if you did it, beautiful job. We got a food that you were totally neutral about. Your desire was at a level 0, and now we boosted that to a level 10 in a matter of minutes. How'd you do it? What'd you have to focus on? What'd you imagine? What'd you shape and mold to get it to that level? Think about it. That's an incredible thing, what you just did. You got it to a +10. How about them apples? Okay, now, think about what it would take to lower your desire to a -2. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum. On a scale from -10 to +10, again, where -10 equals the most appalling thing on earth, makes you want to vomit at just the thought of it, you would never even touch it, to +10, where it's the most amazing food ever. You gotta have it right now. Your craving is like through the roof. What would it take? Would you have to add something to the food that you think is kind of gross? Would you have to take something away? Would it be cold and stale? Whatever you want, whatever it takes to drop your desire for it to a -2, do it. Pause if you need to. All right, nice work. Really good job with this so far. Now let's drop it to a -10 on the scale, where this food absolutely disgusts you, makes you want to puke. You never even touch it. What's it gonna take? Does it have to drop on the floor and then you picture maggots and other bugs crawling on it? Whatever it might be to drop it to a -10, do it now. And really get this on an emotional level. Experience this at a -10 right now, where it's just appalling, it disgusts you, it's gross. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, got it? Is it at a -10? If not, pause the video and get it to that level. Trust me, it's worth taking a little to do this, because this small little formula could be the difference that removes one of the biggest blocks preventing you from where you are now to getting to where you want to be. Okay, if you dropped it to a -10, beautiful job. Nice work. Now take a step back. Take a deep breath. Shake out your arms, your legs, your neck. Break state a little. Now just think about the food we've been talking about. Notice your level of desire on a scale from -10 to +10. Is it different than where we started? We'll get back to this in a little bit, but for now, take a minute and think about what you just did. You took something, just a random food that you felt totally neutral about, and changed your level of desire on command. You took it from a 0 to a +10, and then completely turned it on its head and did like a 1080 ollie at a backslide, mambo jumbo reverse Egyptian flip, and stuck the landing at a -10. I mean, that's pretty serious stuff right there. And it wasn't me. I just guided you through the process. You did it. You bad mama jama you. This is the level of control you have over your food weakness. Those foods that seemingly banish your willpower, and you feel like you gotta have it. The foods that are getting in your way, creating friction, preventing you from getting to where you wanna be. Okay, we've taken a food that you felt neutral about and completely shifted your desire for it at both extremes. Now let's get serious, as Arnold would say. Weak impression, I know. Let's take a food that's kind of like your weakness, something that you know is shackling you from breaking free and getting the results you want when it comes to weight loss and sculpting your ideal figure. Now actually go get that piece of food and put it in front of you, if it's in the house or wherever you are. If not, grab something else that comes close to equaling your desire for that food. Let's put this to the test. Pause the video and go grab it now. Okay, did you do it? You got that food that you really crave that represents a weakness or something close to it? If not, go frickin' do it. You want to not just get a surface level intellectual understanding of this, you want to get it at a core foundational level. Like I said, this is going to give you a sense of control probably like you've never had before. So go do it now if you haven't yet. Pause right now if you need to. Okay, you have that food in front of you. Now, don't eat it yet. I know you might be tempted. So take that food and gauge wherever it's at, where -10 equals the most disgusting, nasty on earth, makes you sick even thinking about it, you never touch it, to +10, where it's the most delicious thing you've ever tasted, where your craving for this food is like through the roof. It's something you gotta have it right now. You know, your craving, your urge is at a peak. Okay, so whatever it might be, maybe it's at a level 6 right now, maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower, so that just depends on where you're at. But to run through the formula, I'll use a +6 as a starting point. So don't worry, it doesn't have to be a 6, just gauge based on your unique level of desire for this food. Okay, let's put this to the test. What would it take to want that food even more? What would it take to get it to a level 8? Now, if you're already at a level 8, just stay there for a minute. If you started lower than a level 6, then just jump to a level 8 right now. What do you have to imagine? What do you have to focus on to jump into that level, to a level 8? Maybe the food's at an ideal temperature, maybe it's especially fresh, maybe you're hungry and that alone takes it up. Whatever it is, get it to a level 8. We want to see how you do it, what gets you to that level, so that you can use this in the future to command control in an instant. So get it to a level 8 now. Pause the video if you need to take a little longer. For some people, this won't take much effort at all. Okay, we got it to a level 8. Now add 2 more and get it to a level 10. If moving up 2 levels would take you over 10, then just get it to a level 10 and stop there. If you're already at level 10 before we even started, then you just stay put for a second. Don't eat it yet. Okay, get it to a level 10 now, and pause if you need to take a little longer to get it there.